Okay, so I'm back, man. Sorry, I haven't been around for the past 3 days. I just haven't been well. I had the flu and I had to go on to antibiotics. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Still not 100%, but getting there. But guess who's dropped, man? It's 21 Pilots, man. They've dropped like 11 music videos, which is absolutely insane. They've pretty much dropped their entire album. So today was supposed to be Rock Empire Fridays. We're actually moving that to Sunday purely to do the 21 Pilots album, like I said I would do. Today and tomorrow, so I want to try and see if we can wrap it all up, and then next week for all of you guys that are doing the Anthem series, that we still have Anthem series, next week we'll be dropping a lot of that. So everybody, Michael, Vicky, Sammy, Sonia, Frank, and also Campbell as well. So next week we'll tackle all of that, right? But let's get on to 21 Pilots. Super excited for this. I'm sure you guys are excited too. I'm going to begin with the Craving, which was the first video that they actually dropped. So let's rock and roll, man. Let's see what we got. 21 Pilots. The Cucumbers are back, and this is the Craving. We're going to do this a little bit differently this time around. What we're going to actually do is we're going to listen to the song first so that it's uninterrupted. I know I personally don't like to interrupt the 21 Pilot songs all of the time. I know it will irritate some of you as well. So listen to it straight through, and then we'll go into my thoughts and breakdowns and whatever else it is. 21 Pilots, The Craving. Let's begin. Let's go.
Seems I get in my own way. The more I think, the less I say. I hope I communicate the craving. Now I see intentions don't mean much.
Intentions don't mean much. It's actions.
Say enough, did I let her know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait and hope she looks for me, and hope she looks for me. She just wants to get you away, ride it out to the end of her days. I hope that I can say she ate the craving. Now I see a gesture don't mean much. Say enough, did I let her know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait and hope she looks for me, and hope she looks for me. If I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait, 'cause it's the fear of the unknown that cripples every step we take. And I just hate to put this on her, but I swear that I will give more than I take away. Now I see intentions don't mean much.
Oh! That's a miss. Next!
this album's going to be insane. This album's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, there's a lot to this video over here. I think there's, you can take it two ways, right? You can take it from in an industry type way, right? And then, I don't know if you could refer to she as the industry, or it can take it as a relationship way. It depends in terms of how you want to interpret it. But the actual video is very, very, very clever, specifically with that slug, that shotgun shell, right? Anyway, let's get into it. Let's go back and let's see if we can actually somewhat decipher portions of this. Let's go. I'll replay it. I love the ukulele. I think the ukulele is absolutely fire. Tyler Joseph on that ukulele is incredible. I love the fact that there's more instrumentation to it as well. It's not just the ukulele, right? But it's super, super cool. I love the whole idea of this whole arts and crafts thing. Essentially, Tyler is doing his own little thing, which it kind of like is a depiction of the individuals. Like Tyler Joseph is more like that very outwardly creative kind of character, which is kind of like arts and crafts. He's the one who literally brings things to life. And Josh is the guy who's sort of like, you'd say, more industrial, right? Where he goes for like the bigger type stuff. So he's like the support structure essentially, but the real flair is like a Tyler Joseph type thing. So I like that each of their roles connected together are great. Playing into the actual shotgun shell that he's actually painting over here, where he's adding his own detail to that. And then Josh is creating the actual box for the shotgun shell. I think that's awesome because it's also another way of saying that Josh always writes shotgun, or Tyler Joseph writes shotgun at the end of the day. So I think it could be playing into that. It's kind of like Josh is his wingman. They do things together to achieve a certain goal together. So let's say if this is about a relationship, Josh is his wingman. If this is about the industry, Josh is his wingman. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is absolutely brilliant. And he's giving his own. Anyway, let's carry on, and then I'll carry on saying what I want to say.
Seems I get in my own way. The more I think, the less I say. I hope I communicate the craving.
Crazy how he says the more I think, the less I say. So it's almost like the more he thinks, it's almost like he retreats, essentially. So his mind is so much more powerful than his outward ability to actually vocalize his thoughts. Because the more he thinks, it kind of feels like he's got that craving essentially to sort of say something, essentially, but he kind of like holds it back because he's kind of scared of judgment, or he's scared of his actual thoughts themselves. So essentially sort of retreats into himself and doesn't speak. He bottles it all up. Carry on.
Now I see intentions don't mean much.
And that over there, intentions don't mean much. It's actual actions that mean something, right? Loving somebody, the intention of loving somebody, unless you actually outwardly show your love for them through actions, that doesn't really make a difference. I'm going with two narratives over here. I'm going with the industry and I'm going with the relationship. So we'll cover sort of both lanes over here. Same thing with the relationship. If you don't take your fucking shot, if you don't actually action something, right, it doesn't actually matter. You can be as creative as you want, but if you don't put that creativity out there, it doesn't matter. You've missed your shot. We'll talk about that literally at the end of the video as well. And then the same thing with the industry. But I think also with the sort of music industry is that you can be creative, and then you can sort of set everything up to take your shot. But if you're not taking your shot and you're allowing the system, right, to take your shot for you, it's going to be a miss. That's at the end of the video. We'll talk more about that a little bit later.
Say enough, did I let it know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait and hope she looks for me.
this over here, I don't even know. I think he might just sort of be reflecting on past times, essentially. So it's like almost like he has chained himself, and he's hoping, right, not through his own actions, but through the actions of somebody else who he can't control. He's hoping that that person will take action to come and look for him, right? But that's just not the way life works, right? If you actually want something, you need to go out and get there. And if you don't do that, you're basically shackling yourself. It's kind of what I'm interpreting about. This is just my interpretation. So for those of you who have different interpretations, you guys will obviously put it down in the comment section.
In home she looks for me. She just wants to get you away, ride it out to the end of her days. I hope that I can satiate the craving. Now I see a gesture don't mean much. Say enough, did I let her know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay.
Fucking hooks are absolutely ridiculous. I love the fact, once again, he's reflecting on his past, I don't know, his past mistakes, his past, the way he used to comport himself in the past. So it's nice. I like it when they go with, they've painted this entire storyline literally from the beginning of their career to this part of their career. And I love that they're at a certain part of their career where they've made it, right? They're at a certain part of their life where they've gone through a lot of different trials and errors and things like that. And now it's kind of like, this is the reflective point. This is the looking back point. It's not essentially, coming from a dark space, which I'm almost certain it's not, but I kind of feel like it's reflecting back into that dark space and being okay with that, right? And sort of seeing if he followed through on the craving that he had, whether it be in the relationship or whether it be in his career, whether it be in his industry, right? He's just looking back and say, how well did I follow through? Like how well did this pay off for me at the end? That's kind of what I'm getting from that at the moment.
Chains, I'd lay down and wait, and hope she looks for me. And hope she looks for me.
The relationship thing actually works pretty well over here, specifically the fact that he's actually painting sort of like a puppet scene on the actual shell itself, right? So he's almost like he's sort of canvassing his dreams, not canvassing it on an actual canvas, but putting it onto an actual shotgun shell. Now the shotgun shell is indicative of many different things. It's obviously, you can take your shot and the shotgun, why a shotgun shell essentially is because it's actually got a broader sort of range. Essentially, it shoots multiple pellets, and it's kind of like one of those things that they would use for like sort of hunting. If you're going to shoot like a hare or a duck or whatever, essentially, it's like trying to see if you can cover as much sort of area as you can to ensure that you sort of hit it. So it's almost like what he's trying to say over there by painting that scene with the curtains and all that kind of thing on the actual shotgun itself, is it's almost like he's painting his dreams, and then he's going to take his shots at his dreams, right? From this type of thing with the two rabbits next to it is actually quite cool, because if you actually think of the hunting, right, it almost feels like he was hunting for something great. He was hunting for a relationship. He was hunting for something real, right? And all he needed to do was take that shot. And I kind of feel at the end, it's almost like he didn't take the shot. He actually gave the shot to somebody else to take it, and of course somebody else, and the fact that they were dressed in black. Okay, anyway, let's get to the back. Let's get to the end of that a little bit later. I'm going too much ahead of myself. But the fact that he's actually painted this beautiful scene onto this, almost like this fairy tale onto the actual shotgun, means that all of his intentions are there to actually go out and realize this dream, right? But then again, he makes that sort of cardinal mistake right at the end of this video, which is crazy. So this over here kind of depicts his intentions, right? And through those intentions, he's supported. He's supported by his wingman. He's supported by the man who rides shotgun with him, and that's Josh, right? Josh is creating the very box for the shell. It's almost like a proposal to a certain degree, right? He's creating the box, he's creating the actual shell itself, right? So the whole idea of this is crazy. It's literally, it also plays into Tyler's creativity. It plays into how he sees and views the world, how he sees relationship. He's always looking at something that's sort of like a fairy tale like, essentially, that he wants to realize. But in the beginning, he literally tells you, right in the beginning, he gives you the clues to that. He realizes that intentions don't matter unless you take those actions, right? So I really like that. But then again, I kind of feel like he's also afraid to sort of use that shotgun. He's also afraid to take that shot, right? Very, very interesting video, this.
Say enough, did I let her know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait, cause it's the fear of the unknown that cripples every step we take, and I just hate.
Because it's the fear of the unknown. Now look at that. He's actually sort of projecting this entire beautiful image onto this actual shotgun, right? But he's afraid of the unknown. It's sort of just going out there and just dealing with the unknown as it is, because you'll never know it, essentially. It's kind of like being stuck and being in chains, almost being frozen, because you're too scared to action something out, because you're scared of that rejection, failure, and whatever else, which plays really well into the end of this video. It actually kind of makes more sense right at the end. They tied it all up as they usually do. But anyway.
And I just hate to put this on her, but I swear that I will give more than I take.
Love that. Again, there's the intention over there. I swear that I will give more than I take away, essentially. But if you don't take your shot, nobody will know that, essentially. So he's literally, I would give more than I would take away. I promise you, I'm here to be of service, to be in service to you. But, and I kind of, again, for some odd reason, I know that this has got sort of like relationship kind of, it kind of references a relationship over here, but it also has this industry undertone to it as well, right? Whereas like he'll give the industry more than he actually takes from the industry because he's so creative. And it's almost like this over here is his sort of presentation. It's his proposal to the industry, or his proposal to that person that he loves so much, that you could literally use the industry as that sort of metaphor essentially as well. But it's kind of like it can both be for the person, it can both be for the sort of industry itself, essentially. It's almost like the industry doesn't appreciate his artistry. Do you know what I mean? And then also it's the same kind of thing with sort of the relationship. But it's not like, it's almost like he's saying that he's not the one driving any of this. He's not the one, after all of this, he's done all of this work. He's the guy who's creative. He's the guy who's the artist, right? He's the guy with this beautiful fantasy, right? But then at the very end of this video, he's not the guy taking the shot. So all of that kind of feels wasted. Do you know what I mean? Because he's not the one taking the actual shot, and no one's got better interests for yourself than yourself, essentially. No one's going to look out for your own interests if you got to take your shot yourself, because other people have got their own interests and they've got their own ideas about stuff, all right? And it's like they're not going to take care, regardless of how much time you've put into it, they're not going to take care at hitting that, you know, clay pigeon, that target, essentially, if you don't take the shot yourself. Right?
The craving. Now I see.
See, that's why I actually like the black suits over here, because the black suits over here represent the industry, essentially. You know what I mean? Very cold, very clinical, not creative in any which way. It's black and white, right? Do you fit within the mold, or do you not fit within the mold? And now you coming and giving me a slug that firstly is not going to fit into the gun barrel 100%, right? Because he's built onto that. It's not just something to kill. It's actually something that means something more to that. It's a metaphor within itself. Right? So firstly, it's not even supposed to fit into that, right? But then he obviously jams it into that, and then he takes the shot over here. at a clay pigeon, which is kind of again representing like another sort of industry standard thing. It's like, what are you actually shooting at? Do you know what I mean? So it's very clever with the way that's why I kind of feel it's got an industry take over here, but could also work on a relationships from a relationship between people take. Anyway, carry on.
Craving. Now I see intentions don't mean much.
Oh!
And ends it with this.
That's a miss. Next.
Next. So all of that creativity, all of that time spent, everything that that whole idea in his head that he literally projected onto this thing, right? He gave it to someone that sort of clinical, doesn't see the world in the way he sees the world, and obviously isn't going to he's not going to take care at that shot. And for him, it's like Tyler Joseph's target and this guy's target is very different at the end of the day. So for him, it's like the industry hitting that clay pigeon means they make money. For Tyler Joseph, the taking that shot means that he actually positively affects the industry. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very clever way, a very sly, cleverly sly way of actually slipping that message in to sort of send out that message that the industry is very sort of black and white and uninspiring. Right? And he's craving something greater, something bigger, something that resembles real art. Do you know what I mean? But does it fit in the standard chamber of the industry? That's the fucking difference. And that also can sort of be copy and pasted into a relationship. Somebody having a certain idea of who you are, but then afterwards, when you come with all of your flares, right? And you come with you're different from what everybody is expecting, like the whatever, the 6 figures, the 6 inches, the 6 whatever it is, right? When you're different from that, it's kind of like you're not appreciated, right? So people don't handle you with as much care as they should. And the thing at the end of the day is, regardless of whether you have the wingman, you are the one that needs to take your shot for yourself. Because if you leave it up to somebody else, no one has got your best interests at heart, because they've got their own sort of ulterior motives, right? I think that's part of it. So I'm going with the 2-lane narrative over here because I kind of feel like they're kind of like very well interchangeable, specifically in this video.
Next.
All right, back to the drawing board, which I think is absolutely awesome. So clever, so clever. These guys are so sharp with what they do, absolutely sharp. What a brilliant way. And I think, like, if you go back into that video and watch it again, and then back into that video and watch it again, you'll be able to pick apart a lot more. Their messaging is so layered that you're able to actually go and sort of like extrapolate all of that again, and then sort of create a whole new narrative about it. But the whole idea behind this video is having a particular craving, right? This not only an artistic craving, but like an emotional craving, right? And then actually taking that shot in terms of like, there are intentions and then there are actions. And if you don't take the actions and you take the actions yourself for yourself, right, it's going to be a miss, right? Because nobody sees your target the way you see your target. Right? So for them, they'll see it as a clay pigeon, right? And they'll shoot that clay pigeon and they'll quickly just take that shot and whatever else. But for you, that clay pigeon is a resemblance of everything, right? It's a resemblance of your creativity. It's actually hitting the mark and stuff like that. But you can't allow somebody else to hit the mark for you or to hit that target for you because they don't see it the way you see it, right? They don't see that sort of like, the way you've created that ammunition was for something different. The ammunition that they want is standard. You know what I mean? It's just this normal, like if you'd actually get a box of, you see, that's the more you think about it, the more you think about it essentially. And if you get a box of shells, right, it's all uniform. They're all exactly the same. And Tyler Joseph gave him a different shell for a different purpose, right? And it wasn't appreciated. It was very, very quickly skipped over because you're not hitting their target. Their target is monetary. Do you know what I mean? You're looking at the targets are very different. You see the targets very differently, and the same thing happens in a relationship, right? Your end point, right? Your final destination in a relationship might be different in your mind and different in the person that you're in as well. But if you don't sort of take your shot, right, and if you don't actually go out there and sort of sell yourself in that way, sell the expression of yourself to that other individual, right, that other individual isn't going to be as careful with your heart in the same way. I don't know. I might just be going all over the show here. But either way, all right, that's my interpretation of a first time listen. You guys let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.